today we filed a lawsuit on behalf of Central Radio that really brings together all three of those rights in one package. Central Radio has been a thriving business in this community in Norfolk for over 70 years. Yet recently, in the last 2 years, they have been involved in a legal battle to keep their property with the city of Norfolk, who wants to take that land by eminent domain and give it to Old Dominion for, as far as we know, an undisclosed purpose at this point. Recently, Central Radio decided to take their legal battle with the city beyond the courts of law and into the court of public opinion. And they are doing that, of course, with the banner that you see behind me, which obviously, in our view, under the First Amendment, they have every right to do, to use a banner on their own property to protest the city's taking of their land. Now, you can see what that banner says. I don't have to tell you what it says. And more importantly, I don't even have to tell you what that banner means, because it hangs on the very building that is now threatened with eminent domain. Central Radio, in short, has managed to turn this building, using that banner, into a monument to the abuse of eminent domain in the city of Norfolk. Yet recently, the city has come to Central Radio and told them that they need to remove this banner because the banner allegedly violates the city's sign code. Now, I invite all of you to wander around the city of Norfolk, where you will find other banners of equal size all throughout the city on other buildings, and to consider whether the city's claim that they need to prevent Central Radio from having their banner up in light of that makes any sense at all. Now, as I said a moment ago, this morning we filed a First Amendment lawsuit challenging the city's ability to require Central Radio to take down their banner. To tell you more about that lawsuit, I'm now going to turn the microphone over to Erica Smith, staff attorney at the Institute for Justice. Erica?
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. The city has been trying to tear down Central Radio's building for over 2 years. Now they're trying to tear down their protest banner as well. The city started eminent domain proceedings against Central Radio in April 2010, and of course Central Radio fought back in court. 2 months ago, however, a trial court said the city can go ahead and take this building. And like Steve said, it's unclear what the land would even be used for once it was taken. So Central Radio at that point decided to fight back in the only and best way they knew how. And that's with this banner. And you can see they did a pretty good job. Immediately after they hung that banner, public support poured out, supporting Central Radio, members of the community, their customers. And that's so important because right now, public pressure on Norfolk politicians may be the only thing that saves Central Radio from eminent domain. This banner is keeping the city's feet to the fire. And the city knows that. And maybe that's why they sent out 2 sign code inspectors to come out and say that Central Radio cannot have this sign up right now because they have to get a sign permit first. They have to apply to put that up. But even if they apply for a permit, they can't have it as it is right now because it's too big. So they would have to reduce it to a size that's only 1/6 of the current size of the banner. But what's the point of a protest banner if it's too small for anyone to notice, too small for anybody to read going across the highway? Indeed, the Supreme Court has said that signs are the most effective way for people to talk out on their own property, and that's why it's protected under free speech. That's exactly what's going here. There is no better way for Central Radio to protest what is going on than with this banner right now. And that's why we filed in court today, asking the court for an emergency temporary restraining order that would allow Central Radio to keep up their sign and keep speaking out until the court can decide this very important controversy. Thank you.
Okay, now I'd like to turn it over to Bob Wilson to say make a few statements, and then after we'd be happy to take questions. Bob?
Thank you folks for coming out today. Central Radio has been in business for 78 years in Norfolk. We've been good corporate citizens for 78 years. We pay our taxes, we maintain our property in a good order. We've been on this street for 50 years. We've been here longer than Old Dominion University's been Old Dominion University. Old Dominion and NRHA are taking our land. They've condemned our land through a process called eminent domain. An eminent domain is governmental taking of private property for public use. That's not the case here. They are going to turn us into another Chick-fil-A or a pizza oven or something like that. There's no public use. There's no classrooms being built, no libraries being built, not even a park being built. We think that this is just morally and illegally wrong. It just cannot be allowed. That's why we've erected this banner. We want the general public to understand that this process is being abused.
If we have any questions?
We're going to need to put mics on you guys, definitely.
Sure. That's fine. You want to go ahead and do that?
I have a question.
Sure.
Robert Dean, Iowa Libertarian Party. This is not an advertising issue that would fall under the normal sign ordinances that all cities and counties and everyone's applicable to their own jurisdiction. This is, in fact, a constitutional issue of free speech. Is that the basic premise that you're going to support on this issue?
Yeah, we're exactly right. We're arguing that this banner is protected under the First Amendment and that property owners have a right to make use of their own land using signs to protest government action. It's as simple as that.
And hasn't this stood up in court elsewhere in this nation?
Yeah, I mean, there are other cases. We litigated a case not long ago, almost identical to this one in St. Louis, where St. Louis tried to prevent a property owner from having an anti-eminent domain mural painted on their wall. We litigated that. The Institute for Justice did, and won that in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals not too long ago.
Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
Can you expand on why the city of Norfolk does not seem to be able to show that it is a necessity for them to have this property? That seems to be the justification for eminent domain, and I don't see any necessity here.
Bob, do you want to address that at all?
We see no necessity at all, sir, in that. I think ODU particularly has in the past said in print they have no idea what they're going to do with this property once they acquire it.
And ultimately, that's the reason that Central Radio put this banner up. They want to bring more public attention to this issue. They want to turn it into a big public debate. And regardless of how the eminent domain issue goes in court, they have an absolute First Amendment right to try to turn this into a debate and to make use of their very property that's going to be taken to do that.